Today, as we celebrate Our Lady of Sorrows, of course, follows immediately after the exaltation of the cross, which we celebrated yesterday, and is a reminder that Jesus was not alone on the cross. I was reminded back when I was a junior in college, one Sunday evening, I found that there was something medically wrong with my body, and so I called my parents, because that's what college students do, especially when there's no emergency room within walking distance. And so I called them and said, this is going on. They made the 45-minute drive from Concord to Durham in about half an hour, and then back to Concord to the emergency room, where they were able to fix the problem that was going on. In the midst of this, I found myself, at first there was a lot of distress, but then I became very calm, very much at peace, and said, whatever God wants, however it happens. My parents, on the other hand, were freaking out. They were over the top, and of course, I learned over the years that that's what you do when you love someone. Your heart, when they're wounded, when they're sick, your heart goes out and you worry about them and you're concerned. And we see this as Mary is at the foot of the cross, and Our Lady of Sorrows. Her heart is so filled with compassion, and compassion means to walk with someone in their suffering. Her heart was so filled with compassion for Christ, not only because He is her Son, but also because He is her God. And to see Him suffering physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, as He was on the cross, tore her heart apart. She suffered more than anyone else in the whole world other than Jesus. And in fact, the mystics say that she would have died had she not been upheld by a specific grace of God at that foot of the cross. And as her heart was pierced with a sword, as prophesied by Simeon, she was there with Jesus, gazing upon Jesus, always there with Jesus, consoling Him and helping Him through His passion. And this is the grace of Our Lady of Sorrows, that she gazed upon the cross and that she walked with Christ in His passion. And for us too, we're called to walk with Christ in His passion, to console Him on the cross as we spend our time in prayer, our time through our own sufferings to console Jesus on the cross. But we also know that in our own crosses, in our own suffering, we have a mother, Mary, who is there to console us, to walk with us, to be that compassionate heart. I ponder over the fact that even though it causes incredible pain for us to love someone so much that when we see them suffering, we suffer, if we don't love enough, if we don't love someone enough that we experience that suffering, that compassion, then we won't also experience the ecstasies of love. Love has both its high and its low. And if we don't allow ourselves to love someone enough to experience the distress of compassion, we will never experience the joy of love either. Without the cross, there is no resurrection. And unless we're with Mary at the foot of the cross, we will never be able to be raised up with Mary into heaven. And so let us ask our Blessed Mother, Lady of Sorrows, to walk with us and to help us to allow our hearts also to be pierced for love of God, for love of others.